and just still dealing with like technology, and like literally over here I was editing a video and then it just got stuck. Like it just got stuck. It wouldn't even quit. It wouldn't even quit the fucking app. And so you know, there's that. All right. So good morning, witch. And before y'all say anything, yes, I know I'm coughing. Yes, I finished the meds. No, they didn't kick it. So I'm probably going to have to go back and get them to give me something else, some more. So I don't know. So I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and apologize to my mods already for the images that are on the graphic today, but they are what I'm going to talk about. And so I'm going to ask everybody that's in this space to do your absolute very best to put on your blinders today, to not deal with the fuckery. Do not feed the trolls or the hateful Islamophobic people or any of those things. Okay. Good morning, GR. So I'm really going to ask you guys in the chat to behave. I don't care what they say. Just let me handle it and we'll keep going. All right. So I reposted yesterday the interview on PBS NewsHour with them and Salam Muhammad OS. Yeah, so which they had a power outage, so they had to reschedule. But let me just, because I'm forgetting what I'm saying. Good morning, no. So let me kind of yesterday I reposted a video, and the video that I reposted yesterday was a appreciate you, tech lady. The video that I reposted yesterday, I'm choking to death, but not really to death, but okay. The video that I shared yesterday was from PBS NewsHour doing an interview. Good morning, Tim, with one of the IRGC top advisors, officials. I don't know if you all saw the post that I shared yesterday. How many of you guys either saw the repost that I shared yesterday or you've watched the interview itself? Because I'm going to play it for us, and then I want us to talk about it. And then I want us to talk about the insane amount of Islamophobia that is out here in these streets. And so let me just say this for all of you guys that have said, yeah, Cheryl, they had a power outage, so they had to reschedule her appointment. For those of you guys that have been walking around screaming all over social media, racism was such a long time ago. Nobody's bigoted. Things are great here in the United States. I just need you to pay attention to the very, very, very extreme level of Islamophobia that is all throughout this fucking country right now. And so I'm just going to address it straight on. Vegas, how much am I getting paid? Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough, because I'm worth so much more. I mean, and if you want to go to my link tree, I do have pay apps though. You can help out. Fuckery. Okay, so I do want to play. Play the entire clip of that interview, and I do want to talk about it. I'm just saying, fuck these people. But because I think that it's important, some of the questions that were asked. I think it's really important. Debbie, don't talk to them. I've got the trolls and the fuckery. Don't worry about them at all. Listen, you guys, if you were not on this app before the 2024 election, then you listen, people saying things like people doing the whole like, how much are they paying you? And you need to get a job. And what do you do for a living? And are you a boy? And like all of that. Listen, I expect all of that to do what it's going to do for the next 82 days. And I don't give a fuck, right? The bottom line is if I were getting paid, I would have no problem saying so, right? The reason why people ask things like that, the reason why people say, are you getting paid, is because they can't imagine putting your time and effort into something without getting something. That is an indicator of who they are as an individual. It has nothing to do with me, right? So I don't take any of that shit personal, and I don't really care what any of those folks say, period. So, good morning, Army vet. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why I'm like coughing. But I do want to talk about this interview yesterday, and about where we are. And then I need for you all to not let me forget. I do have it open on the tabs, but you all also know how many tabs I have open. So I don't want to forget to talk about the couple in the family of 3 in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, that passed away because of their electricity bill, their inability to pay it, the refusal of the electric company to work with them, and their subsequent reliance on a generator that they believe is now what caused the toxic carbon monoxide poisoning. So we are going to talk about that as well. There's just a lot to tie in, because that ties into all the things. Why is everyone who talks politics on TikTok ex-military? Probably because we understand the impact of what's happening right now. So like when you say talks politics, so like for me, it's about policies and issues and how they impact people. And so I think that a lot of people that are military still talk about these things, and they get on social media and talk about them because we took an oath to the Constitution. We took an oath to the country. And it's really important to talk about these things so that people understand exactly where we are and what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, folks. Yeah, there's quite a few of them, Scotty. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. Okay. So listen, folks, if you are new to me, this is the way that I do things in this space. I only ask for 4 things. I ask that you be respectful, don't use slurs, don't spam my comments, don't type in all caps. And the reason why I ask you to not type in all caps is because I have folks in this community that are vision impaired. Okay, so all caps are reserved for those individuals. If you can be respectful and you can do that, then we can have a conversation. 100%. Good morning, Marilyn. Good to see you. Oh, thanks, Beatrice. I appreciate that. Yeah, I still need to message Steve. He's on my calendar for today. Although today we also have a Project for the People meeting at 8 p.m. So I think it's, I encountered a situation yesterday where I learned of another veteran who has been so radicalized by the Islamophobia, by all the things, right? That they're damn near like on the cusp of potentially, like, this person at this place could do something that would be incredibly harmful. And that part makes me angry. I do have an inhaler. And I think this is the thing that people need to understand, is that there are consequences for this rhetoric. There are consequences for the things that are being said, the things that people are doing, the things that people are saying, and it's very, very real. And so why people don't seem to understand that, I don't know, or why people want to make jokes about it or make light of it as if it's not significant, as if it's not real. I don't know. But what we are going to do today is we are going to walk through where we are, and we're going to talk about some of the very real consequences of where we are in this moment. Because if you didn't listen, let me ask you this. Put a 1 in the chat if you have not heard or listened to the interview from the Iranian leader that spoke with them yesterday. That not spoke with them yesterday. Thank you, Carla. But that gave the interview with PBS NewsHour. Iran leaders are liars. Joe, you know what? How about, do you want to talk about it? Come on. I just want to, yes, Jito Planet, I do. That is part of the problem, but it's not just Zionists. I think you need to throw in there Christian nationalists as well, right? So Jito Planet, like we used, because so on YouTube he says blame the Zionists for pushing Islamophobia onto the public to fuel their warmongering agenda, and I agree. And I think you also need to add in Christian nationalists, Christian Zionists on top of that, right? Because that's really important. Will A, you just sound silly. It was a very enlightening interview, wasn't it, Warner? Okay, so we're going to play the interview, and this is what I'm going to say. So do me a favor, folks, and check the bottom of TikTok to see if you meant to request up. So if at the bottom of your screen, the two little people that are down there, if they are grayed out, that means that you have requested up to join the panel. If they are blue and pink, it means that you have not. And so there are several of you all that are, in the chat, in the request queue, and I'm not sure if you actually meant to request up. So let me know if you did. Folks, if you haven't done your daily heart meet, can you do me a favor and go ahead and take care of that right now? TikTok gave me a flash goal, which it doesn't usually do. So I'm assuming they want me to do that. And so if you haven't done your daily heart meet at the top, please go up there, click that sucker. We need 40 of you all to do that in 15 minutes to hit that goal for TikTok purposes. So appreciate that. Good morning, Sherry. So what I'm going to do is I am going to play this interview, and then we're going to talk about it. And can I offer you all something? Not only do I want you all to put blinders on and not engage with the fuckery in the chat and let me handle it, I also want you all to remember in your conversations with people that if they try to take your facts and make them misrepresent something different, right? Don't take the bait. So like the person in my chat just now that goes, oh, she's pro-Iran, that's wild. Okay, so listen, there is a difference between sharing an interview from the Iranian leadership, being able to speak facts about our history with Iran, our current situation with Iran, and then being pro-Iran, right? When people do that type of simpleton bullshit, it is intended to bait you. And so don't fall for the okie-doke. Don't do it. I just really need for you all to kind of don't let them be so disruptive to your peace. Like seriously speaking, I just need for you all to not be so easy. Like some of y'all, it's just real easy to get a rise out of you. You can tell, like some of y'all are not used to being in marginalized groups because you'd know how to just like ignore some of that shit. Hey, Jane Eyes. So, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Good morning, blessed and grateful. Okay. So I am going to assume that the folks that are in the chat meant to request up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up a couple of folks before I play this video, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. So Gatito, good morning, and how are you? What? Looks like you didn't mean to. Larry. Hey, good morning, Larry. Did you mean to request up? Nope. Okay. Didn't think so. Yeah, it was really quick, right, Aaron? Rolande, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Did you mean to request up?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what would you like to share? Sorry?
saw your prompt, and I just wanted to agree with you on all three of the prompts that you have up there. And I'm hoping that people will get their stuff together and go out and vote. We have to change something, and that's just the least of what we have to do is vote in November to change what is going on. This is scary. I'm 74 years old. This is the scariest time in my life living in this country. I have never seen it this bad. And I started protesting against things that this country has done when I was 17 against the Vietnam War. I've been against almost every war that we have purposefully gone into, where we have killed innocent people, taken their resources. The list is just so long, I don't even know where to begin. This, though, this is beyond what I ever expected our country to ever do. I lived on the border, and I have personally seen the kidnappings going on. I'm a member of the Rapid Response. Do you know who they are? We're the ones that you see when you see the videos of ICE trying to take someone or breaking the windows in the cars. We're the ones who are taking those videos.
Gotcha.
We're the ones who are trying to stop. We're the ones trying to stop them. We're trying to make sure that where is the warrant? Who are you going after? They are very scary people, I will tell you. Like I said, I'm 74 and I use a cane.
Wow.
This is the scariest time. My neighbors, I love my neighbors. None of my neighbors ever, I don't care. I'm going to tell you this, and people may not like that. I don't care they came across the border because my neighbors have never done anything wrong to me. My neighbors who are undocumented, do you know who has done harm to not just me, but to us? Are the Christian nationalists, the people who keep praising that they are patriots. They say this bullshit about being patriots when all they do is destroy and take away. They have been I didn't tell you this part. I was a school teacher for 45 years. In 2002 was the first beginning of when I started to see where they started to destroy our public schools, taking our monies away. Started this stupid bullshit with the vouchers program. I remember arguing up at the state legislature in 2002. Like I had not just I raised my voice. I was shouting at them in 2002 when I realized, because I could tell where this was headed. I could tell where the voucher program was headed. That they were, you know what? I'm back. I don't make much sense. My father put me in a private Catholic school, and he paid his taxes, and he believed his entire time that we pay the taxes for all of our children. Education is the only way in and out. So because I went to a private Catholic school, did not mean that my father should get money for putting me in that private school. He never believed that. That's what we're doing now. People who can afford to put their kids in private Catholic schools or whatever school, cannot take money from our people. I taught in public school. I loved those students, and it broke me. Each year I was taking more and more and more and more money out of my own private monies just to get basics for my classroom. That should never, ever happen. Find me another country that does that destroys their education. Name me one, just one.
Right.
One country, even Bolivia, for God's sakes. I don't give a crap. Anyway, that's why I came to talk.
Well, I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you very much. Yeah. So, I mean, it's, I said this before that I actually have a lot of sadness for folks that are, like my mom's age, right? My mom is 81. And, I'm looking at folks that are in the latter years of life. And it's sad because today they have fewer rights than they did a long time ago. No worries. I don't know if she's joined Project for the People, y'all. She might not know anything about it. This might be her first time in here. So yeah, so they're asking. They're asking. So is this your first time in my live?
Yes.
Okay. So okay. So they're asking if you know about Project for the People, because it's
do not.
okay. So it's something that I put together in response to people kept asking, what do we do? What can we do about where we are? And so at the beginning of this year, I sat down and I took Project 2025 and I took Project Esther, and I looked at the template for how these guys plan their work and work their plan, because even though they might use it for really shitty things, right? They get things done, right? They get it done. And so I wanted to see kind of like, what do they do? And so I took what they did, and then I wrote my own project called Project for the People, and it is focused on three phases, three avenues through which I think we get back and we create a stable, democratic, constitutional republic. And we do that by doing three things. Number one, getting serious about winning elections. And when I say get serious about winning elections, I mean like really, really serious. So what I did, and as an educator, you'll probably appreciate this. So what I did was I actually went and I went through the election data for 12 different states in the country for the last 5 federal years worth of elections. And then I went through those because those 12 states had margins of 10% or less in 2024, right? And then after I went through those states, I went through every county in those states to also pull out every county that had margins of 10% or less. And it gives you information like this. So in Michigan, there are 16 counties out of the 83 counties in Michigan that had margins of 10% or less for the majority of the last 5 years worth of federal elections. And in those 16 counties, 47,000 people voted third party. That is 60% of the deficit in which Democrats lost Michigan by in 2024, right? So part of Project for the People is about getting really serious about winning elections and having a strategic agenda and focus on how to do that. But then the next part is about having conversations in communities that really matter, that are significant. And so I created a Google Drive that is absolutely full of documents about data centers and Medicaid and your poverty levels and your voter registration guidelines. And so all of it has sources and links in it. So you can see and it's done by congressional district. And I did the data for literally all 50 states. And it's broken down in English and in Spanish. And there's proposed legislation. And we meet every other Thursday. So we meet tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so what people do, I bought a domain name. The domain name is makingamericatruelygreat.com. People go there, they register, they get a link to the Google Drive that I just showed you some snippets from. And then we meet every other Thursday and we role play how to have conversations with the people in our lives and in our communities. And we talk about people that are having events like Democracy and Donuts, or people that are going out knocking doors, or they're putting flyers in grocery stores and flea markets or community centers or festivals or whatever. Because building community and connection is the path forward, right? If all we do is change laws and policy, but we don't change the hearts and minds of people, we won't get it done. Guys, I need 8 more daily heart me's. So if you haven't hit your red heart up there, please go ahead and do that really quickly so that I can finish this flash goal for TikTok purposes, please. That little sucker right there. So yeah, and then the last one is government accountability. And so the government accountability part is a 2.5-year timeline of the things that we can get done that will shore up and close up some of the loopholes that have been exploited over the last decade, especially the last 5 years, not 5 years, the last decade, the last 18 months, and then the 4 years before. So if you're interested, you can go to makingamericatruelygreat.com, or you can scan the QR code that's down there. And then, come check it out and see what you think.
I would like to do that. May I add one more thing? You were talking about how, I was talking about that. Looking back over my many years, and I feel responsible for this. I watched as the crazy Christian nationalists kept getting more and more power. And the power that I saw them getting at the very beginning was in the southern states. And that's my bad for not getting, living in another state. It was like, oh, that's Alabama. Oh, that's Mississippi. I'm going to use Roe v. Wade as as when this all started. When Roe v. Wade went into becoming legal in 1973, many of us women, I was 22, we were so ecstatic that we finally got something that we were fighting so hard for. And at that time, I was living in Chicago. And it was about 6 months later. And I'm living in Chicago. I have my kids, my little children, and I hear about where they have closed down a parent. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking very well. Where you go, Planned Parenthood. They closed down a Planned Parenthood, and I remember very clearly saying, "That's really terrible." But I didn't do a damn thing about it. When I look back on this now, that was the beginning. That's why I tell you that story about 1973, and then the story in 2002 with the taking over of the public schools, and going into all these different countries and stealing all of their resources and killing all of the innocent civilians. It was a slow progress to where we are here today with them having complete control. I want to thank you for what you're doing, and I hope that it works. And yes, I'll try to come Thursday nights. I'm usually at a meeting for Derechos Humanos, human rights. We meet with the people who are undocumented. We get them their packets, so that if and when ICE comes to their house, in the packets we have a thing. We set them up so where to put their children, where their bank accounts are, who gets their house, who gets their cars. When I go home every Thursday, I'm always crying. What we're trying to do is help them as best we know how to help our undocumented neighbors. Anyway, that's what I do on Thursday nights.
Yeah. So listen, and even if you can't come on Thursday nights, I email out a link with the recordings of the meetings. When you join, you'll get access to the Google Drive. The Google Drive is full of resources and graphics and information that you can share within your community and all the things. So yeah, I love the work that you're doing. It's incredibly important, and I appreciate you for sharing.
And thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing. We need you too. Everyone needs to vote at least. That's the bottom. That's the least.
Yeah.
The very absolute positive least you can do in November 3rd. Do everything else. Save your neighbors. Find out who your neighbors are. Help them. That's what, anyway. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Hey, Mama Africa. Good to see you. 100%. So listen, there's wisdom in some of them elders, folks. And it is something to, when you hear, a part of me is super duper sad that at 73, she's having to still be at it. You know what I mean? Like, you would like for people at this, I would like for us to not be at this place where we are still having to fight for these types of things, because they should just be so, right? But anyway, experience plus understanding equals wisdom. Yeah. Does it really matter if we vote? Yes, it does matter. I can show you elections that have come down literally to one vote. Yeah. So yes, it really does matter if you vote. And I don't know. So you know what I don't understand is how people can ask that question now. When you look around and you see what's going on, when almost 90 million people didn't vote in 2024, it is absolutely clear that voting matters, folks, because we didn't. I mean, look at where we are right now. Look at where we are right now. And so I'm just saying, of course, like, it absolutely 100% matters. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this clip. So Thorns with Lace, there's no evidence of that. And please don't come in here with election conspiracy things. You'll end up getting muted, and I don't want to have to do that. But there is zero evidence that, quote unquote, they aren't counting them correctly. So don't do that. please. If you want to come talk about it and come to the panel, I mean, there's just no evidence to support what you're saying. I don't know where you got that from, but it's just not accurate. It's just not accurate. Okay. So, okay. Well, here, I'm going to send you an invitation to join the panel, and then we can talk through it, because it's easier if you join the panel than going back and forth in the chat. All you have to do is click accept to the invitation that I sent you. Folks, if you are joining me on Twitch and on YouTube or whatever, the link to request to join the panel is in the chat as well. Let me see if it got pinned or not. There you go. Yeah, Youngblood, I'm going to. Like, okay, I am, and I still have a live to run. Okay, thank you. Yep, and then just join the panel. Thorns with Lace. And Facebook, really quickly, I am dropping the link in the chat for you, so that you can also do that. Let me give it to you. All right, so link to join as a guest. All right, Facebook, yours is in there as well, okay? So all of you guys can see it, and you have the ability to request to join as a guest. All right. So, all right, so here's what we're going to do. So the first thing that we're going to talk about this morning is the interview with the Iranian leadership that gave an interview. They gave an interview with PBS NewsHour. And if you didn't see it, I shared it yesterday, but I'm going to play it for you today. And then we'll talk about it as we go through the interview. Okay. Because there are some things that I want to point out that he says. There are some things that I believe the GOP is probably going to take out of context or misconstrue or spin. And so I want to talk about that so that we know how to have conversations about these things. Okay. So give me 1 second. And okay, that was real quick. It just started going really quick. Okay, here we are. And I'm going to turn up my volume for you guys. Okay, y'all ready? This is PBS NewsHour. So listen, TikTok, you know that I can't show you the video, but I'm going to play the audio for you. You guys over here can absolutely see the video. And here we go.
Border and internal security. The U.S. and many other nations have designated it a terrorist organization. The IRGC, as it's known, rarely give interviews and almost never to Western media. But Commander Mohammad Reza Nakhti sat down this morning in Tehran for an exclusive interview with special correspondent Reza Sayah.
Commander Nakhti, thank you very much for sitting down with us. It has been a long-running policy of Iran's Revolutionary Guard to never speak to American media. What changed? Why did you agree to sit with us?
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, we never received a request to reject it. We would like for our voice to reach the ears of people in Western countries. It's Western media that don't like our voice to be heard. There's nothing we do that's indefensible and outside the values of humanity that we would want to cover up or not discuss.
Let's talk about this war. Where do you see Iran in this juncture of the war? Do you see yourself as winning? Are you in control?
Certainly, victory is on our side. After the defeat of America's two main objectives, the toppling of the leadership and the breaking up of Iran, we saw confusion and bewilderment in America. It became a war without a strategy. Every 2 or 3 days, they announced a new objective. For several nights, they said they want to invade Karg Island. They said they want to open the Strait of Hormuz. They mobilized their battleships. Everything they tried, we can show how we were victorious.
In your view, is it inevitable that Iran has won?
No, we have not yet reached our final objective. This is clear. Up until now, we are victorious. In the future, we will continue to be victorious. The longer this war lasts, the more experience we gain. We had never seen a real war to gain real experience, to learn how to fight with America. In these 5 months, we have learned how. We have also seen how the American military is weaker than what we perceived.
Is it Iran's objective to drag out this war, to maybe wait until Mr. Trump is out of office?
Look, we have to attain deterrence so that the enemy never dares to attack us, so we can live with security. One way is to prolong this war until we get to the next term of the presidency and cause attrition, so that if anyone else wants to attack Iran, they will know there is a cost.
This week, on at least 2 occasions, maybe more, Iranian forces attacked non-military ships that were trying to cross through the Strait of Hormuz. What is Iran's objective in attacking civilian ships?
When we are at war, vessels need to pass through a region we can control. When they leave an area that we control, it could be that they're transporting supplies for the enemy.
Do you not see that as a violation of international law, attacking civilian ships?
When you're in a state of war, any thoroughfare deemed to be a threat, we can control it. This is international law. Anywhere in the world where there is war, this law exists.
One of your most effective weapons in this war has been your missiles and your drones. Reports said before the war you had about 3,000 to 4,000 missiles. How many missiles do you have in your stockpile right now?
First of all, we are not reliant on missiles and drones. If we are victorious, we relied on our faith to be victorious. God is with us. As for our missiles, the Americans and the Zionists always want to count our missiles. First of all, the number of missiles we manufacture every day is more than the number we launch. In a country this vast, we can make...
Did you hear what he said? Number one, I laughed at the questions, right? But listen to what he said. He said, number one, the number of missiles that we make every day are more than the number we launch. And then he goes on to talk about how so listen, I'm going to rewind this part just a little bit. So listen.
Every day is more than the number we launch. In a country this vast, we can make them wherever we want.
Where are you making them? Is it deep underground?
We do it in different ways. We have various ways to manufacture them securely. Rest assured, even if this war lasts for years, until the last day, Iran's rockets will be launched. I will make this point, and this is more important than missiles. If there comes a day when Iran has no more missiles left, that's when we will be even more dangerous for America.
How would you be more dangerous?
Because America has thousands of economic interests throughout the world, and all of them can be easily destroyed.
I just want you to hear that part. I need y'all to really listen to what he just said, because this is the part he said, if there comes a day where we don't have any more missiles, that's the day when we're really dangerous to the United States. And he says, how? And he said, because the United States has economic interests throughout the world and all of them can be easily destroyed. I just need y'all to hear that part.
America has thousands of economic interests throughout the world, and all of them can be easily destroyed.
Military officers often put themselves in the place of their rivals and the enemy to maybe predict what they're going to do. Put yourself in Pete Hegseth's place. What is he thinking? What is your prediction as to what he might do.
من هیچ موقع خودم رو جای اون نمیذارم. اون یه آدمی جنایتکار.
I will never put myself in his place. He is a criminal who killed 168 innocent children. Not only do these people not work for the benefit of humanity, they don't even work for America. They work for their own interests. As soon as the stock market closes, they start hostilities. When the stock market opens, they send positive messages to raise stock prices. All the while, they are buying and selling the stocks themselves. If I was in the place of the American Congress, I would call for an investigative committee to compare the assets of Mr. Trump, his family, and his inner circle before the war to their assets after the
قبل
war.
از جنگ چقدر بوده؟ الان چقدر شده؟
Many observers say Iran has put up a strong fight, but that America has one weapon that Iran doesn't, and that's a nuclear bomb. In your view, how likely is it for America to use a nuclear bomb?
Naturally, it can end up being a mistake for them. The morning after they use a bomb, all of America's military bases around the world would be occupied. Today, things are different than World War II. The people of the world have awakened. No one in the world will allow for such a crime to be committed, because the next time it could be themselves.
Washington has long claimed that Iran is a threat to Israel. Israel says Iran wants to build a bomb to destroy Israel. Does Iran want to destroy Israel?
ایران یک حرف راجع به
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, and this is something our martyred leader has also.
I have to stop right there. Listen, it was just this opening response to that question. When he's asked about Israel, he says, Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine. Man, listen, I literally was like, okay, if anybody is paying attention, he said, we only have one thing to say about occupied Palestine. Okay, sorry, here we go.
Israel says Iran wants to build a bomb to destroy Israel. Does Iran want to destroy Israel?
ایران یک حرف راجع به
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, and this is something our martyred leader has also said. The leadership there must be chosen based on a majority vote by the people who are connected to that land. This will certainly not be done with a nuclear bomb, but we certainly prefer if the Zionist regime did not exist.
رژیم صهیونیستی مثل رژیم آفریقایی
Just like the previous South African regime, an apartheid and white supremacist regime that was discarded by the people, the same thing must happen in Palestine.
باید توی فلسطین هم بیفته.
Iranians are often seen shouting the slogan, "Death to America." And many American politicians point to that slogan and say Iran wants to destroy America.
Look, we have no enmity with the people of America.
So what does that slogan mean?
The meaning of death to America means death to America's leadership, a leadership that has invaded or violated more than 70 countries since becoming a superpower.
Increasingly, many observers inside Iran and outside say that if Iran had a nuclear weapon, America would not attack it, that it would be a deterrent. Is the Revolutionary Guard, is Iran even discussing the possibility of pursuing a nuclear bomb?
خیلی روشن به شما میگم.
I will say this clearly. Our nuclear bomb is the hearts of the people of the world that we won fighting oppression. Islamic values and the divine values of the Islamic Revolution are taking over the world.
Now listen, that is the part that I believe there will be Islamophobic Zionist people, and they will try to make it seem as if he's saying Islam is taking over the world. But that's not what he said. He said the Islamic values, the values of the divine in the hearts, that's what's taking over the world. And so I just want you all to hear the clip, to know the clip, so that when you see that fuckery, and when you see that misinformation, that was cute, Sandy, then you can address it spot on, because that's not what he said. He very clearly said Islamic values and the divine values of the Islamic Revolution, right? The godly values are taking over. That's what he said.
values and the divine values of the Islamic Revolution are taking over the world. There is no need for nuclear bombs. There is no need for slaughter.
After the death of the late Supreme Leader, his son Mujtaba Khamenei was appointed Supreme Leader. But during this war, he has never been seen in public. Can you tell us why?
The strategy belongs to him. Our enemy is criminal and doesn't abide by any law.
So is it because of security reasons?
Naturally, it is due to security. Certainly, there is no other reason.
Have you seen him?
Let's leave this matter alone.
Commander Naqvi, thank you very much.
You're
for your
welcome.
time.
I too thank you.
Okay, so that is the interview. I think Winters, if you would like to request stuff, the link is in the chat for you to do so. Holy geez. That was a masterclass. It was. And listen, let me just say this. Real talk, folks. These folks are so smart. And I have no qualms in saying Pete Hegseth couldn't hold a candle to that man's intelligence. I have no problem saying that. And the thing about it is that it is, and just so that I can answer you, Winters, no, they do not have it in their constitution to destroy Israel. No, they do not. And that's something that you could just very easily find out. Like if you really wanted to know, does Iran have it in their constitution to destroy Israel? You could just Google it, right? Just hop on a search engine and look it up and you would find the answer to your question. But the answer is no. What they do desire is to get rid of the regime of Israel, right? Which is what he just explained to you, the same way they got rid of the white supremacist apartheid regime in South Africa. So same thing. Jeffrey Weber, it is not. It is not. Why are you lying? Have you ever read the Quran? No, you have not. You just sound like a bigot. That's it. You're just Islamophobic and you're just bigoted. So now let me tell you what I think about the timing of this. Okay. Gonzo, you have an opportunity to join the panel and discuss it. Good morning, Gonzo. How are you?
Good morning. Let's talk history.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. You're new to my panel, right? I'm not familiar with you.
I'm 65. I'm out of Florida. I'm retired.
I don't ask any of those questions.
Okay, I just gave it to you.
Yeah, but I don't ask those questions on my panel.
That's fine.
Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how I run my panel so that you know how we do things here.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I ask for 4 things in this space. 1, I ask that people be respectful. 2, don't use slurs of any kind. 3, don't spam the comments. So if you want to say something, you can say it, just don't say it repeatedly. And then number 4, don't type in all caps. And the reason for that is I have folks in my community that are vision impaired. And so all caps are reserved for those folks. So as long as we can do those 4 things, we will get along just fine. All right. So
my question is, are you in Islam? Are you Islamic?
Gonzo, hold on a second. This is my panel. This is my panel. Okay. So I'm gonna run the question. I'm gonna run the panel. I'm going to run the panel.
I'm dealing with.
Gonzo, I am
Are
going to.
you in Islam?
So first of all, there's no such thing as are you an Islam? That's not a thing. So just so that people understand, Islam is the religion. Muslims are the people that practice
That's
Islam.
right. Are you
If
in
I
Islam?
put you on mute, sir, you stay on mute.
Why won't you answer the fact I'm asking? Are you?
You can come back when you learn how to be respectful. This is why I take the time to go over the guidelines and I just say, hey, be respectful. When you won't do that, I'm not going to engage with you. You're supposed to be a grown ass 60-something-year-old man. What in the world? So, Gonzo, if you want to come back and have a respectful conversation, you can request back up. But here's the thing, folks. I set really clear boundaries, and they aren't hard. They are be respectful, which means don't talk over me, which means if I put you on mute so that I can speak, don't take yourself off mute. These are things that children know. Literally, my grandchildren know how to behave better than Gonzo just did on my panel. Jeez. So, to be clear, folks, all right, when we discuss faith, right, when we discuss, so let me tell you the comment that he said. He said that Islam, I believe he said it was a violent religion or something to that effect. And so, Gonzo, you don't understand. What did I tell you? I told you don't spam my comments. You're about to get muted. So stop acting like a petulant child. If you want to have a respectful conversation, request back up. You are literally acting like a petulant child. Okay? This is not difficult. So let me just be clear, folks. Actually, John B., I'm right-handed. John B. said, you're a leftist. No, actually, I'm right-handed, but thanks. All right. So, folks, you all don't talk to him, please. You all don't talk to him. Okay? You're feeding him. And in a minute, he's going to get muted because he is spamming the chat. And the fact that he would just sit down in the chat and keep typing things rather than request back up tells you that he's not interested in having a good faith conversation. Because if he was, he would have just requested back up and said, okay, I won't interrupt. My apologies. And then we could just keep going, right? But he's not doing that. So that tells me all I need to know. Okay? All right. So he's in the box now. Great. Love that. So when I bring you up, Gonzo, stay on mute until I take you off mute, and then we can have a conversation. And I am going to be the leader of that conversation because this is my panel. Okay? Great. I accepted him. I don't know where he's gone. Gonzo, I accepted your request to the panel. I don't know where you went. So, no, Winters, what Iran's government has made explicit statements calling for was the end of the Israeli regime. And there's a difference between calling for the end of a regime and calling for the end of a state or a country. They are not the same thing. It's really important, folks, that you don't let your own bigotry or your own racism or your own bias or your own prejudice get in the way of facts. It's really important if you want to have like a real conversation that is of benefit to anyone, then you have to get past that and be able to just deal in absolute facts. Well, it is true, Winters. I literally just played the interview where he said exactly the same thing. So think whatever you would like. All right, folks, when I bring you to the panel, put yourself on mute until I get to you. Okay? That's what I need you to do. Rebel, I'm not sure what interview you're talking about. No, Veronica, they had a power outage. They had to reschedule. There was somebody else that had requested up, and then it, yeah, no, that was with PBS NewsHour. It's not BBC. That interview was with PBS NewsHour. It wasn't with BBC. Give me a second, folks. Oof. Okay, hold on, folks. TikTok is doing a thing. All right, 1 second, and then we'll get things going. Give me 1 sec. Sheesh, oh Pete. All right. Okay. All right. So it's really, really important, folks, that you all stay focused, okay, and don't engage with the foolishness that's in the chat, okay? Good morning, Youngblood. How are you?
Good morning, Dani. How you doing today?
I am doing well. What would you like to share?
It's craziness. You know me. I don't think a lot of people on your panel knows me. A lot of people that's listening. But I'm 73, black man in Chicago, and I share some of the same views that the lady you were talking with earlier. This is insane on a whole nother level, the thing that we're going through. I was a part of that Christian movement, the evangelical church. I have many members in my family who are ministers and teachers. So those things I'm quite familiar with. I'm quite familiar with their ideology, what they practice, what they preach. I don't agree with it. I think that everyone has a right to live their lives whatever way they choose to live their lives. I don't want to go into a tirade and attack people and stuff like that, because you know me, I don't do that. But this is crazy. What difference does it matter whether a person's a Muslim, Catholic, a Baptist, a Pentecostal, or whatever faith they shares? As long as you have the capacity in your heart to believe in something good, then I accept the goodness in people and not look for the hatred and the bigotry that people are spreading. But we've gotten to the point to where this is extreme on a whole nother level. As a young man, I grew up in the Black Panther movement. I was a big part of that. And the only reason I'm still alive now is because I wasn't there for the raid on the headquarters in Chicago. That night, I decided to stay somewhere else instead of being over there with my friends. So I understand what these people are doing, what they've been doing, and what they are trying to do. It's craziness. The mentality of these people is on a whole nother level. I was an independent truck driver for years, so I've traveled all over this country. And when I did that, I was not just a driver, I was a mover. So that means that I'm in people's homes, and nowhere is a person more comfortable with being who they are than in their own home. So I know what exists out there. I've worked in small America, rural America, every major city in this country, and I've been able to fellowship and talk to these people. And some of the things that I've seen and some of the things that I know that these people practice and believe is scary on a whole nother level. in order to conquer a nation, first you must divide the people. And that's what this administration has done. They've stroked the fears, the hatred, and the bigotry that exists in this country. And they've taken it to a whole nother level. These prank phone calls, I don't have long because every second Saturday on the west side, we do a school drive for the children. So we're getting ready to do that this Saturday. We have a block party, we come in and we donate supplies so that way when the children go to school, they're able to do that. So I got to get out of here in a little bit and go and get with some of my nephews to coordinate everything that we're doing Saturday. But just you have to stay cool. Tired of these spam calls. That's a whole nother story, and I don't want to get into that.
Yes, 100%.
They call you with all these things. Oh, you can get this on Social Security, you can get that, and they try to scam people. So you're getting like 70 of those calls every day, and there's a reason behind that. But I don't want to get into that.
Wow.
But it's just craziness.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, you
It's
know,
scary.
so for me, I guess I don't do the whole like it's scary thing. For me, it's just sad. It is really sad that that there are people whose bigotry and their hatred supersedes everything else, every other rational conversation. Their inability to see much of what they are projecting onto someone else and someone else's face is actually present within themselves and within their own faith. And the root cause of that, you know what I mean? So, and the one thing that I will say is let me just, I'm going to pull it up because it's worth a little reminder. That's what I want. A good reminder for folks is Romans 14:13 and 1 Corinthians 8:13, where Christians are warned and advised against becoming a stumbling block for their brothers, right?
100%.
There are so many people that are walking around that consider themselves Christians that don't really follow the teachings of Christ, and that literally what they teach and how they present and how they show up is causing other people to stumble. And I think that's definitely present in this administration. It's in people like Doug Wilson and Pete Hegseth, and according to their own faith, they will absolutely be held to account. So, but good on you for the school supplies thing. Love that.
Yeah, they will. I also have a cousin who was a big, you were on a panel with him and you got into a heated debate with him by the name of Dani. Okay. His grandmother and my father, sisters and brothers.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, so we argue a lot. I go on his panel a lot and try to talk to him. But there's no, he's been bought and paid for. When you sell your soul to the devil, he keeps coming to collect his debt.
Well, he came in my space one day, and he actually was respectful. He was actually respectful that day. Now he just did it. He did his time. He did it once, and then he left. He didn't come back.
Yeah, I know. I was in the queue listening. I don't come up on because I don't entertain the counsel of foolish thoughts and ignorant actions. So I stay away from those.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I go in there and try to talk to them. But
yeah,
it's always a battle.
Yeah, I don't pop in there either. So, but yeah, but no, I appreciate you, young sir, and wish you guys lots of success and lots of supplies this weekend for the kiddos for school.
Oh yeah, we will.
All right, have a good one.
When you have a good day, drop me down, and I'm get ready to get out of here and go do that.
Okay, all right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Love you dearly.
Thank you. Love you, mean it. Bye. LaRonica, we have not. We have not. And We have not. Sorry. Yeah, haven't gotten there yet. All right. So, folks, if you could do me a favor and just check to see if you meant to request up, and if you did, stay there. If you didn't, take yourself down. I've got Traub, Bamboo Bell, Courage to Walk. I think Dad Jokes and Jamie are just boosting, and then Jen the vet. I'm not sure if you wanted to come up or not. It has you stressed? Yes, I know. Good morning, TC. He listens. See, I don't ever see him. I think I saw him like one day in the last week comment about something that I was saying. But when he's here, he doesn't request on the panel. Let me just say that. Let me just say that. Okay, so this is, I usually don't need it this early, but I do need a really quick mod break. And then what I need to do is, after I do this mod break, then we could talk more about this interview that the Iranian commander gave, and the reason why we have to talk about it, because there are some other pieces that I think were incredibly smart. So in my humble ass opinion, I believe that this interview was a really smart intelligence move on the part of Iran, and we will talk about it in just a second, as soon as I empty my bladder and then fill my cup. Okay, appreciate you, Red Hot. I'll be right back. Woo! Not me, girl. Yes, I almost yanked this whole thing down. Hold on.
Blessed be the fruits.
I cannot. Okay, she's gonna do a quick mod break while I do that. I'll be right back, y'all.
Good morning, everybody. Dani, Danikins, and followers and others. Please continue to tap the screen and share the live out. It looks like we have 295. Please continue to share to all your friends, foes, and family. Also, up at the top, if you haven't got your heart me, please do that. It's next to Dani's name, and it's 1 penny. It helps push the live out to the FYP, protect the live, all those things. Also, please be respectful. No slurs, no comment spamming, no all caps. That's reserved for us moderators and our vision impaired folks. So please be respectful of all those things. Hey, y'all. Also, I'm in the middle of watching Testaments, which is like the spinoff to Handmaid's Tale. So that's why all that stuff's in my brain again. Like, let's be the fruit, so it's funny. But anyway, I think. Oh, also, since she's still gone, if you haven't gone to Dani's Linktree and signed up for Project for the People, please do that. There's lots of wonderful things in there and stuff you can be posting, or whatever capacity you can do this in. I think, when is the meeting, Cam, or anybody? Is that tonight
at 8 o'clock?
Yes, tonight at 8 o'clock. See, I knew it, I think.
Tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Yes. Oh, good gosh. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will be going over the new graphics. Appreciate you, Red Hot. We will be going over the new graphics. We will be doing some role playing. We will talk about some upcoming strategy, and then setting some regional meetings. So what we will start to do with Project for the People, number one, is meet more often, and then also meet in like clusters of states, right? And the reason for that is so that people can get connected, people can mobilize together, people can collaborate together, people can go knock doors together, have conversations together, like whatever it is that we need to do together as a community to kind of be as impactful as possible in the last 82 days before the midterms. If you come tonight and you bring someone new, then you will get your name put into a raffle for some Project for the People merch. If you, it's in the Google Drive, Brandy. So in the folder that says Project for the People overview and contact info, there's a spreadsheet in there. Also, if you come tonight, there will be a special code that you will get. You'll get a discount code, so that if you want to purchase Project for the People merch, whether it's a cup, a t-shirt, a tank top, a hoodie, because fall is coming, a tote bag, a car sticker, a door knocker, whatever, there's a code where you'll get, I think it's $10 off of 50. So those are the two things that are happening tonight for Project for the People for the meeting. All right. Okay. All right. Appreciate you, Red Hot. Thank you, my dear.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So listen, folks, as we get closer to the midterms, oh, you're very welcome, Brandy. Oh, and by the way, so y'all, I have to tell y'all this. So y'all remember all of the data center graphics that I was showing you yesterday, where I've taken them and now I've done them like district by district and single graphics. So I have to label all of them to match the congressional district in order for them to be put into the appropriate folder in the Google Drive. So, excuse me, and there's 490 of them. So yesterday, after I got done off the live here and I got something to eat, the girls got home and whatever, for Bella's birthday, we had a slumber party in the living room. So the mattress was still in the living room. So I just took my laptop on my little cooling stand and sat down on the mattress. And that's where I worked until like, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock last night after the live yesterday. And Dominic came home from school and he said, Tutu, I know he said, you want to know how I know it's serious? And I said, how? And he said, because you brought the laptop to the bed. He was like, whenever you bring the work to the bed, he was like, I know you're going to be working for a really long time and it's really serious. And I was like, yeah, bro, it's really serious. So that was my evening last night. But they're almost all completely labeled. And then I can just move them over into the drive. The 3 things that we can get done series are already in there. And we're going to go from there. Yeah. Last night. So we've been not eating out as much. But last night was one of those nights where I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna have to order something. Tutu doesn't have the bandwidth to do all the things. So tonight, I promised I'm gonna do some chicken quesadillas and some sauteed veggies for dinner before Project for the People. All right, so let's talk about this. Right, a PBS, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, wait. I don't know who all is trying to come up here. Jen, did you mean to request up? Jen the vet, did you mean to request up or no?
Yeah, just for boosting, but I'm game to talk about the Iran interview.
I bet you are. So for those of you guys who do not know, Jen is also a veteran like myself. And so what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from the interview?
Masterclass.
Yeah.
Oh man, the fuckery that Pete Hegseth is pushing on our military is just astounding.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, 100%. So let me for those of you guys, okay. First of all, Lego videos. Okay. So like, whether people realize it or not, those fucking Lego videos are part of this war.
yes.
I need for you all to understand the propaganda, the messaging, all of that. And they were super smart because they put it in a digestible form that was entertaining, that was easy to understand, that people would widely share, right? I'm just saying, folks, Lego videos, you never understood that? Which part of it, sacred space? Oh yeah, no, this is absolutely, because if you listen to, yes, it is the contrast of intelligence between US and Iran is vast. Yes. So this is the thing. So they understand the way that Americans consume information. They do. They understand the way that Americans consume information. They understand what's entertaining to us. They understand how long to make the videos. They understand what music to use. They understand what information to put in, what kind of graphics to use. They get it. And if you go ahead.
I just kind of, and let's contrast that with what's being put out in the news right now about our military. We're talking about testosterone for males.
Yep.
we're talking about the USS Abraham Lincoln, who has been deployed since the beginning of this, and the service members on there are don't have adequate food. They don't have adequate anything. I saw reports today that people are trying to go overboard because they
I haven't pulled up. I haven't gotten to it yet, but yeah.
And I hear a lot of people say, during World War II, this vessel was deployed for this long, and I get that, but during World War II, leadership had the thoughts of the service members serving in their foresight. They were making sure that they had food and ammunition, and they were rotating schedules, and there was a talk about, how do we end this? That's not happening right now.
Mm-mm.
They're literally just sitting over there, not knowing when it's going to end, not having any kind of information, because our Secretary of Defense is talking about testosterone.
And here's the thing. They haven't made land.
Right.
At all. In 250 days.
Yeah.
That's literally a record for an aircraft carrier in modern times, right? So for folks who don't understand, this is horrific. And it really does demonstrate how incompetent the Secretary of Defense is. It demonstrates how this is what happens when you cosplay as like military leadership and you have zero clue what the fuck you're doing.
And anybody that could put him in check has already been either fired or left. Because it's I don't mean to laugh, but it's just what else can you do? Like, I am so angry about this.
But so do you know what I think back to right now? I think back to the Senate confirmation hearing and Mark Wayne Mullen going, how many push-ups can you do, Pete?
Right.
That. Like, I don't give a fuck how many push-ups you can do if you can't lead theater. If you can't lead, like, what does it matter? And so they are so childish. It's like they don't understand the actual complexities of what it takes to run things. Hey, Paulinata, right? And so it just really, yeah. So I saw the wipe the nose, run the hair thing, and I know what people are saying. And y'all know that I don't get into that type of speculation because it's just that it's speculation. I would rather talk about the very concrete things that we know, which is his leadership is failing and it sucks and it has put soldiers' lives at risk. It has cost the lives of soldiers. Right, Gio, there are no adults in the room. Good morning, Scott. And so it's just incredibly important to talk about now. So, and let me just go on and block you over there. Are you crazy? Yeah.
And in contrast, when you look at what Iran's doing, it's a masterclass. And I think the one thing that people don't understand is about Iran, and I just recently learned about it. I'm still trying to understand the complexity of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is their military is
they're segmented. They're independent.
They're compartmentalized.
Yes.
And the only way that they would stop is if they got a specific message
from it's from the supreme leader, or it's not.
Exactly.
That's it.
And they all run individually of each other.
Correct. So
while working with each other simultaneously. It's so complex.
Yes.
And so like strategic and just spot on.
Yeah. Yeah. So their leadership, their military, the IRGC, it's not structured like us from like a pyramid. It's not. You have the person at the top, but then they're individual, just broken off into little clusters, and they don't talk to each other, but they are all going on the same, all of the orders are being given for the overall plan, but they all don't know what the other people are doing.
Right.
And that's the key, right? And so they don't know what it does. So like you could take out one particular part and the rest of it would keep right on kicking.
Yep.
Because they're not intertwined. And that's the thing that people don't understand about. And this is where Americans, okay, can now I'm going to go back to our education system. This is why we need a better education system that is focused not just on the United States of America, but global issues and global history. We suck at global, and it's probably because we're like the baby nation of the world, right?
Mhm.
But other countries understand the histories and what things look like historically, right? People go like they are fucking Persians. Do y'all not know?
Right.
And people are like, what? And then there's I don't know, Billy Joe outside with his axe. I'm ready to go to war. I'm gonna chop my wood. I'm ready to sign me up. No fucking clue.
What people don't also understand, they talk about us being the greatest military power in the world. Let's be realistic about this for a second. If we brought home all of our service members, we could not defend our 4 borders. Could not. Don't have enough.
Right.
That's realistic.
Yes. And this is my thing. The rest of the world has sat back for a very long time and just watched us.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have done what they need to do to shore themselves up. And I said this before. I'm just saying, Paulinata, that's what they were doing. So for those of you guys that are on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, did you all see the videos that I'm talking about with all the big corn-fed white boys in their backyards with their axes talking about they was ready to go to war with Iran? Yeah. Meanwhile, so you know what I want to say to those guys? Could you just go watch like the first episode of the 2nd season of Lioness and understand how woefully ill-equipped you are for what the fuck is happening right now?
So go watch the first episode of the new season.
That's what I said. 2nd season. Oh, it's the 3rd season. Is it the 3rd season? Okay.
Yeah. The way that they talk about how, if you look at what's going on in Ukraine, they're using $90 drones and fighting
and fucking dogs
with all these sophisticated weapons, and yet they're still putting bayonets on.
Right.
I mean, it's so, the contrast is ridiculous.
And so this is my thing, you all. When I'm talking about Iran, I am not happy that we are so woefully inept. I am not happy that we are sitting with egg on our fucking face and we have no exit strategy and people are hurting as a result. And we have this shit show in this administration. Like, I'm not happy about it. It's just still the facts. You know what I mean? Like, I just have to call the thing exactly what it is. And we have, and this is where we have gotten, right? This is where rubber stamping Senate confirmation hearings have gotten us. This is where a Congress that capitulates for POTUS has gotten us. This is where following the ideas and playbook of organizations who don't actually have a real clue. And right, we can't fix it if we don't address it. And it's just, I don't know what we're going to do. And listen, when these folks say the smartest thing for us to do would be able to drag this out until the day after he's no longer in office, I don't know if people understand exactly what that would mean for us. And when I say us, I'm talking about working class people. I'm talking about working class people. The rich people will be just fine. Yes, America has been overly propagandized into American exceptionalism. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And so like, okay, so if you remember in this same episode of The Lioness, where there's a New York Times headlines that says the end of democracy, and she says, "Oh, I never thought those words would ring so hollow." And so they start to talk about like how the press is making themselves irrelevant because of the way that they are writing stories, right? And so her husband starts to talk about all of the foreign influence on our universities. And so he talks about billions of dollars from China, both in like donations to universities, but also in students and this, that, and the other. And here's my thing, right? First of all, if we just fully funded our own fucking education, maybe we wouldn't need foreign countries to be giving money to our colleges. That would be number one. But number two, do you know what he actually said though? He said, listen, those things are just false flags. Those things aren't real. He said, you want to scare me? Start talking to me about AI. That's the real end of democracy. Did you catch that part?
Yeah.
And he ain't wrong. And this is my thing, is they are literally packaging up the things. It's wild to me to see people so voluntarily hand over their liberty and hand over their rights. It's crazy work to me. And then, and it's absolutely spot on. It's on Paramount Plus. So I hadn't seen it until 2 weeks ago because, okay, so I watched the first season and then I boycotted Paramount Plus over Jimmy Kimmel. And I canceled it. And it's been canceled for like a year. And then the new Avatar, the Airbender, came out and Dominic wanted it. So I canceled one of my own subscriptions to get him that one so that he could watch the Avatar one. The third season is out. And it's real good. But anyway, so the whole point in this, guys, is to be able to say, number one, that interview, that is military intelligence at work. That's war strategy at work in front of your fucking face. Just dressed up as an interview. But that's literally what it is. And there is a message that Iran wants the American people to get. And they've been putting that in their Lego videos. They put it in all throughout that interview. Why? Okay, so I'll tell you why. Rare cargo is when the Iranian regime says that they desire to see death to the American leadership, American regime, right? And when they say they have no enmity with the American people, that's what they want us to know. And there's no better way to get that message to us than through social media and media interviews, right? And they are, and they have been. And did you not hear what he said? He said, these people do not even work for the people. He said, they don't even work for the American people. He said, you know, they blow some shit up before the stock market changes. And then when the stock market opens, right, then they say nice things to make the prices go up so that they can buy it all. And if I were the American Congress, I would do an investigation into this and into that. Holy shit, y'all, listen, they are smart. And it is absolutely an intelligence move to give right. PBS is reliable. PBS is also, nobody's going to be like, oh, PBS NewsHour is some right, some left-wing liberal, whatever, right? And so they chose a specific media platform. And they delivered a very specific message. And people are hearing it. And at the same time, it's coming right alongside. So imagine we are 82 days away from this damn election, y'all. And you've got what's happening with Iran. You've got gas prices doing what they do. You've got people dying because of their electric bills. So, let me just go ahead and bring this one in real quick. So, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. There's a family of 3 with a $2,000 electric bill. It's okay, Dolphin. They wanted to pay $1,000 and then do a payment arrangement for the rest. The electric company refused to work with them. They needed to pay the entire thing. So the electric company turned off their electricity. Their names were Tracy, Kenny, and then 20-year-old Mahala Skurlock. The Swan family. And so they ended up purchasing a generator that's what's suspected of causing fatal carbon monoxide poisoning. So they paid $1,000, but the city allegedly refused restoration without full payment. So the family went and got a generator, and now all of them are deceased.
So I saw a follow-up article to that this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been able to do any verification on it yet, but some of those city council members
Mm-hmm.
also are working with the company to pay their bills, and were allowed to pay a smaller amount to keep their electricity on.
I don't know. My understanding is that there are hundreds of other people that also have significantly high electric bills and are not able to pay them.
I can tell you over the past 3 months, mine has doubled.
Yeah.
In the past 3 months, my electric bill has doubled.
So here's what I'm just looking to see where the other numbers are. So now the mayor is saying that they've asked the city manager to explore whether there are opportunities to provide greater flexibility in our utility payment policies for residents who are making a good faith effort to pay their bills, while also ensuring that any changes protect the integrity of the system and prevent abuse. The deaths come just weeks after an investigation by the state auditor's office into potential overbilling for electric service by the city last year. This is Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So thousands of electric customers complained in late 2025 because they got 2 bills in the same month. The auditor's report found that the confusion did not result in customers being double billed, but the city has also faced scrutiny from the auditor's office previously. A prior performance audit found that, quote, significant overspending has led the city to the brink of financial collapse. So yeah, but these 3 individuals are deceased. I just don't know. Here's my thing. How is this the greatest country in the world? How is this winning? How is it that in the United States of America, we allow people to die over their electric bills?
Right.
Right? How do we do that? And then still scream about whatever. And then expect people, like, how the fuck do you pay a $2,000 electric bill and, you know, we can't raise the federal minimum wage? Like, what are we doing? Yeah, they're definitely not pro-life, Blue Honey Pot. Exactly. Right? And these are the conversations where I really want to have, like, come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Are you really interested in facts and truth? Or are you just, like, what is it? Yeah, but so here's my thing. So Deuces Wild, when you say, you know, you had a MAGA say that he was happy that the ballroom cost $1 billion because it upset libs, I don't think that person represents the majority of the country. I really, truly don't. I don't. I don't know how it represents anybody, but it does, right? privatization is not meant to benefit the population at large. Correct. Correct. And so this is where it's up to us to ensure that we are putting people in office that are going to crack down on these things. Whether it's I don't know that people really understand. Can you imagine what those electric bills will be if all of the data centers that are planned and proposed and under construction come to fruition? Do you have any fucking clue what your electric bill is going to be? Any clue what it's going to be like to put gas in your car? Any clue what it's going to be like to buy your groceries or the things that you need for your home, or, all of those different types of things? These are real issues that are happening right now. And this is why I'm getting less tolerant or maybe like shorter fuse when it comes to me just saying, I'm not dealing with your fuckery. Because like, if you are someone that is out here and you're not willing to have a actual fact-based conversation, and all you want to do is call names or argue or scream and fuss and fight, then I don't have any time for you. I just don't anymore. We've got people that are hurting. Oh, appreciate it, Sandy. Right? So, Jen, is there anything else you want to say about this interview? And let me ask you a question for all of you guys that are in here now. How many of you all are in here right now and you're watching and you didn't hear the Iranian commanders meeting? 8? Cat? No, Brandy, I didn't. Put a 1 in the chat if you did not hear the interview. It's worth playing again. And I don't mind to play it again. All right? Here we go. I don't mind to play it again. Because, man, Pete's not having a good day today. Let me just say that. Nor should he. All right, here we go. Listen up.
As the war with Iran continues its uneasy stalemate, we hear now from a top advisor to the overall commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the force largely responsible for border and internal security. The U.S. and many other nations have designated it a terrorist organization. The IRGC, as it's known, rarely give interviews and almost never to Western media. But Commander Mohammad Reza Nakhti sat down this morning in Tehran for an exclusive interview with special correspondent Reza Sayah.
Commander Nakhti, thank you very much for sitting down with us. It has been a long-running policy of Iran's Revolutionary Guard to never speak to American media. What changed? Why did you agree to sit with us?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, we never received a request to reject it. We would like for our voice to reach the ears of people in Western countries. It's Western media that don't like our voice to be heard. There's nothing we do that's indefensible and outside the values of humanity that we would want to cover up or not discuss.
Let's talk about this war. Where do you see Iran in this juncture of the war? Do you see yourself as winning? Are you in control?
Certainly, victory is on our side. After the defeat of America's 2 main objectives, the toppling of the leadership and the breaking up of Iran, we saw confusion and bewilderment in America. It became a war without a strategy. Every 2 or 3 days, they announced a new objective. For several nights, they said they want to invade Karg Island. They said they want to open the Strait of Hormuz. They mobilized their battleships. Everything they tried, we can show how we were victorious.
In your view, is it inevitable that Iran has won?
No, we have not yet reached our final objective. This is clear. Up until now, we are victorious. In the future, we will continue to be victorious. The longer this war lasts, the more experience we gain. We had never seen a real war to gain real experience, to learn how to fight with America. In these 5 months, we have learned how. We have also seen how the American military is weaker than what we perceived.
Is it Iran's objective to drag out this war, to maybe wait until Mr. Trump is out of office?
Look, we have to attain deterrence so that the enemy never dares to attack us, so we can live with security. One way is to prolong this war until we get to the next term of the presidency and cause attrition, so that if anyone else wants to attack Iran, they will know there is a cost.
This week, on at least 2 occasions, maybe more, Iranian forces attacked non-military ships that were trying to cross through the Strait of Hormuz. What is Iran's objective in attacking civilian ships?
When we are at war, vessels need to pass through a region we can control. When they leave an area that we control, it could be that they're transporting supplies for the enemy.
Do you not see that as a violation of international law, attacking civilian ships?
When you're in a state of war, any thoroughfare deemed to be a threat, we can control it. This is international law. Anywhere in the world where there is war, this law exists.
One of your most effective weapons in this war has been your missiles and your drones. Reports said before the war you had about 3,000 to 4,000 missiles. How many missiles do you have in your stockpile right now?
First of all, we are not reliant on missiles and drones. If we are victorious, we relied on our faith to be victorious. God is with us. As for our missiles, the Americans and the Zionists always want to count our missiles. First of all, the number of missiles we manufacture every day is more than the number we launch. In a country this vast, we can make them wherever we want.
Where are you making them? Is it deep underground?
We do it in different ways. We have various ways to manufacture them securely. Rest assured, even if this war lasts for years, until the last day, Iran's rockets will be launched. I will make this point, and this is more important than missiles. If there comes a day when Iran has no more missiles left, that's when we will be even more dangerous for America.
How would you be more dangerous?
Because America has thousands of economic interests throughout the world, and all of them can be easily destroyed.
Military officers often put themselves in the place of their rivals and the enemy to maybe predict what they're going to do. Put yourself in Pete Hegseth's place. What is he thinking? What is your prediction as to what he might do?
I will never put myself in his place. He is a criminal who killed 168 innocent children. Not only do these people not work for the benefit of humanity, they don't even work for America. They work for their own interests. As soon as the stock market closes, they start hostilities. When the stock market opens, they send positive messages to raise stock prices. All the while, they are buying and selling the stocks themselves. If I was in the place of the American Congress, I would call for an investigative committee to compare the assets of Mr. Trump, his family, and his inner circle before the war to their assets after the war.
Many observers say Iran has put up a strong fight, but that America has one weapon that Iran doesn't, and that's a nuclear bomb. In your view, how likely is it for America to use a nuclear bomb?
Naturally, it can end up being a mistake for them. The morning after they use a bomb, all of America's military bases around the world would be occupied. Today, things are different than World War II. The people of the world have awakened. No one in the world will allow for such a crime to be committed, because the next time it could be themselves.
Washington has long claimed that Iran is a threat to Israel. Israel says Iran wants to build a bomb to destroy Israel. Does Iran want to destroy Israel?
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine.
I'm going to pause it again because I'm going to let him ask that question again. And then I want you to hear this response. He's asking about Israel. This is what Israel said. This is what the United States says about Iran and Israel. And he says Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine. Not about Israel, about occupied Palestine. It's just smart. Listen, you guys.
Should be themselves.
Washington has long claimed that Iran is a threat to Israel. Israel says Iran wants to build a bomb to destroy Israel. Does Iran want to destroy Israel?
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, and this is something our martyred leader has also said. The leadership there must be chosen based on a majority vote by the people who are connected to that land. This will certainly not be done with a nuclear bomb, but we certainly prefer if the Zionist regime did not exist. Just like the previous South African regime, an apartheid and white supremacist regime that was discarded by the people, the same thing must happen in Palestine.
Iranians are often seen shouting the slogan, "Death to America." And many American politicians point to that slogan and say Iran wants to destroy America.
Look, we have no enmity with the people of America.
So what does that slogan mean?
The meaning of death to America means death to America's leadership, a leadership that has invaded or violated more than 70 countries since becoming a superpower.
Increasingly, many observers inside Iran and outside say that if Iran had a nuclear weapon, America would not attack it, that it would be a deterrent. Is the Revolutionary Guard, is Iran even discussing the possibility of pursuing a nuclear bomb?
I will say this clearly. Our nuclear bomb is the hearts of the people of the world that we won fighting oppression. Islamic values and the divine values of the Islamic Revolution are taking over the world. There is no need for nuclear bombs. There is no need for slaughter.
After the death of the late Supreme Leader, his son Mujtaba Khamenei was appointed Supreme Leader. But during this war, he has never been seen in public. Can you tell us why?
The strategy belongs to him. Our enemy is criminal and doesn't abide by any law.
So is it because of security reasons?
Naturally, it is due to security. Certainly, there is no other reason.
Have you seen him?
Let's leave this matter alone.
Commander Naqvi, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I too thank you.
We asked the White House about this.
Oh, wait. This is the part right here that I need y'all to hear. So the White House was asked about the specific comments that were made in this interview. Listen to what the White House said, y'all. I forgot to play this earlier. Listen to what the White House said. I'm so embarrassed to even fucking play it because you just listen to all of that intelligent, beautiful, like spot on, concise, strategic responses from Iran, right? You just heard all of that strategery, right? They just sound smart. The White House's response sounds like some shit from the WWE. Just listen.
I too thank you.
We asked the White House about the specific comments Naqvi made in that interview. They responded with a statement that reads in part, "It would be wise for Iran to agree to a deal," adding, "Otherwise, they know what will happen."
Something, that's what will happen.
They know they better agree to a deal, or they know what will happen. Exactly. Nothing. Nothing will happen other than we will continue to get our asses handed to us the way we have for the last fucking 5.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. When I listened to that, I was like, I feel like I'm watching an episode of fucking Looney Tunes or something. Like, you better do it, or you know what will happen. Right? You know. Let me try again. You know what will happen. Maybe if I say it stronger. Maybe if I put it on social media. They know what will happen. Like, doesn't matter how you fucking say it, the end result is the same. Like, what in the world? Like, it's crazy work to me, folks. Like, listening to like 9 minutes of intelligent strategy, awareness, facts, evidence, like, right? Alaikum salam, Abu Siraj, right? And then Iran better take a deal or they know what will happen. The same thing that we've been saying since March, right? I want to go ahead and tell you guys really quickly, for those of you all who are in my Discord, you probably saw my post last night, but just so you know, Abu Siraj is in Gaza, and his last solar device burnt up. He has saved, that I know of this morning, $1,300, and so is still $700 short in order to get that solar device. So he does have a direct link in his bio. So go check it out if you would like to support and help him out. Okay.
Hey, can you drop me down, Dani?
Yeah, I got you.
Meeting.
I got you, friend. Appreciate you, Jen. Yeah, you're more than welcome, Abu Siraj. All right, so folks, when I bring you up to the panel, do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I get to you. We still have some other stuff to talk about today. So let's see what we get. Yeah, he's in Gaza. He's in Deir Bella. Yeah, I don't know who you are, so no, I'm not mad at you. Okay. So really quickly, hold on, let me just go ahead and I'll bring up Abu Siraj real quick. I appreciate you, Deborah. He's having trouble connecting because of the internet. But if you click his name and go to his main page, his bio, you'll see his link there. So yeah, Nielsen, you have 6,800 followers. Let's talk about Mom Dani. I just sent you a direct request. Yeah, I know. Nielsen, I'm going to request that you come and join the panel, please. So listen, folks, if you're going to come in and you're going to make a claim and you're going to say Mom Dani is destroying, what did you say? Mom Dani is destroying America, which I don't know how that's possible because he's only the mayor of New York City. But apparently he is now the president, even though he'll never be the president because he wasn't born here. even though he's the mayor of New York City, somehow he's destroying America. And even though he's an American citizen, Nielsen says he needs to be deported, and that all of a sudden he has a clan. I don't know if I think you're confused because like they don't have clans. He's not Irish. I mean, yeah, I think you're confused. But Nielsen, before I let you sit in here and spew any more Islamophobia, you're either going to get on my panel or you're going to be muted. Yeah, I do not allow, with 6,800 followers, Redwood, I don't know about that. But here's the thing. I am not going to, well, so Deuce is wild. Hold on. Let me not say, because there's a difference. When you said no one sympathizes with Iran, I don't know that I can say that. I can sympathize with a country that we overthrew their government. I can have sympathy for what their country and their people have endured as a result of our actions, our involvement in their government, our sanctions, our propaganda. Like we did that, right? There's 168 dead school children. So I can sympathize with them. That doesn't mean that I want them to hurt our service members or I want them to whatever. So like, I just want to be clear about like how we can use verbiage and what that verbiage does or doesn't have to mean. So, what's up, Abu Siraj?
Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Dani. Hi, everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. I think it has become like recently I have noticed an increase in this narrative in which the Zayus and their supporters are trying to use Islamophobia and trying to demonize Islam to go after especially the candidates who are pro-Palestine and against the actions of the state of Israel. That's obviously their plan. Just like they did after September 111, they are trying to do the same.
Yeah.
But the question is, Zohran Mamdani has been in his office for a while. What did he do that is against the American norms or traditions or culture? What did he change in the way in the American way of life?
I mean, he just took care of people.
So you can see, yeah. He cares more than anyone else that ever been in his position. He was able to settle all the debts of New York in no time. He has done so many amazing things, and I heard that from so many people living in New York. Actually, New York has become a better place during his time.
Sure
So the same goes for Abdurrahman al-Sayyid. People will see that once he wins the election, inshallah, they will see that he is just a man that is trying to do the right thing, and he will be in service of the American people the right way, without having to support a genocide, without having to support the Zayu entity. And this is the matter is, guys, that you don't have to support Israel to be a good person. No, you can do right and serve your people, the American people, without having to support a genocide or support an entity that takes the American money so that they can use in murdering children and women.
100%. And, I'll tell you something that I think is so smart coming out of Abdul El-Sayed's campaign is they have started to release campaign videos. And one of them is his grandparents introducing him, his white grandparents. And so they're his white grandparents from Michigan. And the grandmother opens up the video and she goes, "Where is Abdul El-Sayed from?" And then they go, "Right here in Michigan." And then they start talking about helping raise him and him going on to be a doctor and how he buys their groceries every week because he knows how expensive things are. And then there's a second video here's what's so funny is like right at the end of it, he pops up in between the two of them and he says, I'm Abdul El-Sayed and I approve the heck out of this message. And his grandmother goes, "Language," which is so cute. And then the other one that they did is where it's literally his rally with Bernie Sanders. And it's on my Facebook page, Angie, if you follow me over there. But he's at his rally with Bernie Sanders. They've now played a clip of when he found his grandparents in the crowd and went to greet them there. And so I think it's a really smart thing. It's a really smart play to bring them out into the front and to be able to kind of paint him as exactly what he is, which is an American citizen whose faith should have absolutely nothing to do with his politics, and it doesn't. And so we'd love to see it. So, but Abu Siraj, this is my thing. I think that it is important for people that have the ability to say something, to point out the Islamophobia and the bigotry and the hatred that we are seeing and its escalation. Like Nancy Mace, please tell me you all saw what Nancy Mace said about any politician in office that is Muslim. Did you all see what she said? She's a straight up fucking bigot. Yeah, she's the kind of girl that, like, if I had known her in high school, I would have happily whipped her ass. But I didn't know her back then. And I'm not violent anymore. So, but give me a second. All right, so here's what she said. And she doubled down, by the way. She doubled down after she posted it online. She went on CNN and she said all Muslims in public office are quote unquote a Trojan horse. I don't want to hear the ad. So here's this quote: every single Muslim holding public office in America is a Trojan horse and a threat to both national security and our republic. We refuse to be silent. That is what she said. And I, in my opinion, like, she should 100% be removed from office. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that our elected officials should be talking like that about people of different faiths, right? Yeah, she is the threat, 100%. So, I just thought you wanted to say something else.
It's definitely disgusting to hear such a statement from someone working in politician and seeking to represent the American people. It's a complete disgrace indeed. And I really hope that those people are not going to be holding any responsibilities, because it's this kind of people who allow Israel to get away with everything they have been doing. When they think of us Muslims as if our lives don't matter, as if we mean nothing, as if it's okay for whatever countries do whatever they want against us, which is not fair. I just want to know, I know you have heard of Andy Ogles. I'm not sure if this is the right name, but when he lost the Republican primary election in Tennessee, even though he received direct support from Donald Trump, and it's definitely something good.
Yeah.
People no longer vote for such characters. And I just want to know that this guy, he made so many statements against Muslims and Palestinians. For example, back in 2024, when an activist inside Congress asked him about the children in Gaza killed by bombs funded by the U.S. taxpayer money, he said, I think we should kill them all if that would make you feel better. So someone like that is definitely crazy. And another statement he made, he wrote that on X, he said, Muslims have no place in American society and the pluralism is a lie.
Yep.
So it's good to see people like that losing, even though they are receiving shitloads of money from AAP and other lobbies.
Yeah, we talked about his loss the very next day, and it was great. And not only him, so let me tell you who else lost Abu Siraj, and both of them in Tennessee. You know, Tennessee is my home state. So both of these two I was watching. So in addition to Andy Ogles, are you familiar with Monty Fritz? So
I've heard the name.
Okay, so Monty Fritz was running for governor of Tennessee, and he lost the Republican. Matter of fact, he came in dead ass last, which he needed to. But he literally said that he would use the law to ban Muslim call to prayer, to ban Islam in its entirety, along with Hinduism and Buddhism. And then he said, and all the other pagan religions. And I was like, you're such a fucking idiot, because Islam is an Abrahamic religion, just like Christianity and just like Judaism. And when he was asked directly after that, if you want to ban all religions that do not say that Christ is king, then that would mean that you want to ban Judaism as well, correct? And he said, no, I would not. And the journalist said, well, wait a minute, because Judaism, they don't believe that Christ is king either. And he was like, well, I'm just saying that I wouldn't do that. Oh, of course not. Of course not. And so, yeah, so he lost as well. And so I love that for them. And so I think that while there is an increase in the visibility of the Islamophobia, right, especially online and social media, I don't know that the increase in the posts and the things that we're seeing is representative of the people. I wonder more what percentage of that we're seeing is actual bots or trolls or paid accounts, but they don't actually represent the majority of people, because when people are going to the polls, that sort of extremism is losing. You know what I mean? So that's just my thought. So for those of you all who do not know, I'm going to let you know again, Abu Siraj is in Gaza. Actually, he's in Deir Bella. And he does have a link in his bio that you can help him out with. He is trying to get together the last of what he needs to get a replacement for his solar device. And I believe he's about 700 short of what's needed. He's got about 1,300 of it. Okay. So Abu Siraj, was there anything else you wanted to add, my friend?
Yeah, I just want to say, once again, for us Muslims, we are not seeking or planning to take over any place. We just want to be left alone in peace. And we want to build our life and build our future, because our children deserve a better life. Muslims in the US are about 1% of the population. It doesn't make any sense for the Zionists to be promoting for this idea that they are trying to take over. But if we want to talk about who's taking over control in the US, we should think about the Zionists and the state of Israel, who are controlling, manipulating, and blackmailing your politicians, who has dragged the US into unnecessary and unjustified war with Iran that the whole world is paying for now. Yep. And who has humiliated the U.S. administration when they started a war that they cannot end and they cannot win. That's what you should be thinking about and worried about as an American. Don't worry about us Muslims.
Correct.
Away from American politics, just want to let everyone know that for almost 1 week, the Israeli occupation forces were not airstriking the Gaza Strip or attacking any places here. But yesterday and today, they decided to carry out assassinations once again. Yesterday, they assassinated a Palestinian that they claim he is a member of that group. And earlier today, they assassinated the head of Gaza police. And this is another way for them of how they want to prolong the chaos by going after police officers and government officials who are trying to maintain security for the people of Gaza. So may his soul rest in peace. So yes, the Israelis are continuing carrying out assassinations in the Gaza Strip. And when it comes to the humanitarian situation, it is still catastrophic. And the UN is warning that by the end of this year, we might be witnessing a new wave of famine or starvation affecting 2.2 million people living in Gaza. I just wanted to point this out. Thank you, Dani.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Always, my friend. Always, always. So I just want to give you guys a couple of headlines that are important. Iran has rejected the United States claims that vessels are passing through the Strait of Hormuz, saying no ship can pass without its permission. They basically said the waterway is quote unquote under Iran's control. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Did I say that right?
Araghchi. What?
Because you know it's that sound I can't make.
Well, you'll get there one day, inshallah.
So listen, when it's like, if it's anything with rolling the R's, your girl's got it, right? Like I can shukran, I can all of that, right? But there's a sound that's like a hawk, like back there. And every time I'm like,
you should have just said Abbas, okay? Then just say Abbas. It's okay.
I was reading it and then I was just like, okay, listen. So anyway, he is saying, Abbas is saying that the U.S. made miscalculations about the Iran war due to intelligence failures and risks making an even quote unquote bigger miscalculation over the Strait of Hormuz. And I do want to say this. I want you all to remember, how many of you all remember, you can't even roll your R's or live. I got the R's all day. I can do R's all day. But the G or K is okay instead. Yeah, I'm just like, listen, he does have the best laugh, doesn't he? But yeah, no. So how many of you guys, let me ask you this, because this is a real question. This is a real question. How many of you all were not with me when I covered a report where former Department of State workers who were specifically within the Department of Energy were released and let go prior to, like, within the 6 months leading up to this war with Iran? And some of those people are the people that had long-standing relationships with the Middle Eastern oil companies. And so the people that were left behind didn't even have the appropriate contacts or the relationships to even navigate those things. Okay, so let me see if I can pull it up for you really quickly. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can find it. I got it. Whoop, whoop. Go me. Okay, so listen. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to read it to you guys. You guys over here, I'm going to share my screen. So this is important because, all right, there's a constant theme around this administration, and that theme is ineptitude. They are just not equipped. They are inept. They are just woefully inadequate in their performance in their roles. And we have seen that with whistleblower testimony in Congress by an ICE lawyer, whistleblower testimony by a former DOJ attorney, just mind-blowing testimony from the former CDC director and the last career chief medical officer in the director's office, right? And this is another one of those. So 6 months before going to war in Iran, the U.S. government cut staff that would have been central to the current situation. So listen to this. No, I don't want your newsletter, please. Okay. All right. So as the war in Iran, and this was written March the 17th. This is the first time I covered this article, was in March of this year. So as the war in Iran stretches into its third week and the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil supply usually flows, remains effectively closed, the U.S. government is without the resources it once had to handle such crises, former State Department employees tell Notice. So Notice, Notus, is the site, and they spoke directly to these former State Department employees. So listen to this. In July of 2025, as part of President Donald Trump's reduction in force initiative, the administration laid off staff who would have been responsible for gaming out the possible scenarios if the Strait of Hormuz was closed. The agency also let go of staffers with close professional relationships at oil and gas companies in the Middle East and experts that were tasked with maintaining diplomatic contacts at foreign energy bureaus. Quote, I'm sure Secretary Rubio wishes he had that expertise available today, said Jeffrey Pyatt, who served as Assistant Secretary of State for Energy Resources during the Biden administration. Quote, most of that institutional knowledge was lost with the elimination of the Bureau and the RIFs, which is the reduction in force, last fall, end quote. Listen to this number. When 1,300 people working at the State Department were cut last summer, the only people left from the agency's Bureau of Energy Resources were those who worked on critical minerals and clean energy. The administration told Congress when notifying lawmakers of the RIFs. So this information came from the administration to Congress. Hello, Raja. So in a statement, the Department of State told Notice that the Bureau of Economic, Energy, and Business Affairs, quote, is coordinating the release of strategic reserves with allies and partners in response to Iran's attacks, driving increased exploration and production with U.S. companies in key global theaters, especially in Central Asia, Africa, and the Western Hemisphere, including Venezuela, and hosting the Secretary's historic Critical Minerals Ministerial earlier this year with 55 international delegations in one of the largest ministerialists at the State Department, end quote. Notice spoke with 9 former oil and gas experts across the State Department, the Treasury Department, the Energy Department, and the National Security Council, all of whom were either laid off by the Trump administration or left their respective agencies within the last 6 months. All 9 oil and gas experts granted anonymity to speak without the authorization of their current employers, and because of their ties to family members and friends still at the agency, told Notice that they believe the Trump administration's lack of preparation for a global oil crisis is becoming increasingly clear. With nowhere to send or store their oil and gas, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar have started to slow and in some cases entirely halt production. Remember, this is from March, folks. Iran has also retaliated against U.S. and Israeli strikes by attacking oil and gas infrastructure in the Gulf region, including storage and production facilities. This has forced some of the world's largest oil producers to contend with extraordinary new risks and increased fear about oil supply. Trump said those strikes were unexpected. Quote, they weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Nobody expected that, end quote, said the president said, which is crazy to me because, of course, we expected that. And I'm not even in the department. But he says the former staffers say that previous administrations used to prepare for those exact scenarios. Quote, before any of this should have happened, there should have been discussion about what are the implications of this and what happens when the Strait of Hormuz turns off, said one former Bureau of Energy Resources staffer. The State Department's Energy Bureau used to model the risks to infrastructure in the region, 3 former officials said. They should have estimated how long countries like Qatar and the UAE could go before they started having to reduce oil and gas production, and they would measure the value of backup plans, such as the oil pipeline that stretches across Saudi Arabia. Globally, oil and gas companies no longer have an obvious diplomatic point of contact in the Trump administration to communicate those problems with. Nearly all of the former staff interviewed for this story said. 5 of these former staffers now work for oil and gas companies or their lobbyists and related firms. The Bureau of Energy Resources also fired, get this shit, its sole expert. Can I say that again? The Bureau of Energy Resources also fired its sole expert in tracking sanctioned oil tankers, as well as the person primarily tasked with liaisoning with the International Energy Agency, which coordinates releases from the world's petroleum reserves in times of crisis. And it's not just that the State Department eliminated its Energy Bureau. Across many of the agencies that play a role in navigating a war or a global energy catastrophe, former staffers who left the administration within the last few months and remain in contact with current officials told Notice that the Trump administration has sidelined people with expertise. Now, where have we seen that before? We saw it with the ICE attorney, Ryan Schwenk. We saw it with the DOJ attorney, Erez Ravini. We saw it with the former CDC director that was fired, as well as Dr. Herr, right, who was the former CDC career medical officer. We continue to see this administration sideline the career professionals, the experts in favor of loyalists who will just simply do their bidding, and we keep getting fucked as a result. So it says the usual process of analyzing, reporting, and debating before decisions are made all but ceased, said 3 people who quit their positions at the National Security Council, the Treasury, and the DOE in the last 6 months. Before the Trump administration, those 3 agencies, alongside the State Department, would have engaged in a robust interagency debate about how to handle a global oil crisis like the one currently unfolding in the Middle East. Quote, you dismantled the framework that any other administration would have used to engage on these very issues. In a normally functioning administration, I don't know that we would have gotten here, because there would have been a process that would have examined the derivative, the second order and third order effects. You probably would have had a lot more forethought that would have gone into the situation, end quote. And that is from a former State Department energy official. In group chats that include both current and former staff. So listen, here they go with these damn group chats. They love a fucking group chat, y'all. So in group chats that include both current and former staff, federal employees have sent out calls for help with tasks that were once the purview of the federal energy experts, multiple former staffers said. So these folks are in group chats talking about, can you help me? Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Listen to this. In one case, a federal employee asked for help finding a contact to deal with energy infrastructure problems in Ukraine. In another case, a federal worker had failed to find the appropriate oil and gas contact for a meeting in the Middle East. Quote, there was never any handover or transition. There was no formal handover of contacts or anything like that. We were all just let go, said one former State Department energy official. Another former State Department energy official described how their former contact at a large oil company approached them after they left the agency to complain about how the company no longer had anyone they could contact at state. A Treasury employee who quit their job at the agency said that before they departed, oil, gas, and maritime executives repeatedly asked for contacts in the administration because they were left without a new point person after the layoffs at the State Department. Salam, Jimmy. Quote, they would say, who do we call at state about this? And I would say, quote, sounds like you need to hire some MAGA lobbyists to figure that out, because that's not my problem. They fired these people. And it's not funny, but oh my God. So I cover this. If you guys have been with me for a long time, we cover this several times. Who remembers what other thing we covered at the same time? Does anybody else remember the other story that we covered at the same time about the loss of these people? It's in my link tree, just why. What's up, facts people? Does anybody else remember the other article, the other story that we covered at the same time? Hey, my mama. What's up, facts people? Welcome in. Glad to see you guys coming on in. Good morning. How are you, folks? You remember Dolphin? Okay. So here's the other one. Okay. So at the same time that we talked about the loss of all of these energy experts and all of these officials at the State Department and the Energy Department. So facts people, let me just go ahead and let you know who's on the panel. This is Abu Siraj. He is in Gaza. He's in Deir Bella. He is an incredibly good friend of mine. And he is, I did Hill, but I could absolutely play it again. But he is right now saving up to replace his solar device. The last one burnt up. It's $2,000. I think he's got like 1,300 of it already. There's a link in his bio, but of course you can always do gifts if you want to. What's up, Steve's people? Appreciate you guys popping in here. So listen, Steve's people, how many of you all are familiar with the massive cuts that happened regarding people within the State Department, the Department of Energy in the 6 months leading up to the war with Iran? And then in addition, we got rid of the Center for, oh my God, what is it? The Center for Excellence for, oh my Jesus, to eliminate civilian casualties. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Civilian casualties. So we lost both of these at the same time. Yeah, some of you guys do, some of you don't. Okay, so this was another thing that happened, and so the Pentagon shut down this program that was legally required to prevent civilian deaths by the military, and that is how we ended up unaliving 168 school children, right? Is because we did not have this program in place. So the Department of the Inspector General concluded that the U.S. military no longer has the people, tools, or infrastructure needed to comply with 2 federal statutes requiring it to maintain a functioning civilian casualty policy and operate a civilian protection center of excellence. And so I'm going to go ahead and share this tab. I will put Cliff, this isn't part of JAG, I don't believe. But this, I will put this in my link tree as well. This is the report. It came out May 13th of 2026. It's evaluation of the Department of Defense's implementation of the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan. It is a 52-page document. So give me 1 second. Yep, I have, Shimmy. It's up here for me to talk about. We touched on it briefly, but I haven't gone into detail just yet. So let me just tell you what it was. The objective of this evaluation was to assess how effectively the Department of War implemented the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan and whether the implementation complied with the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan guidance and directed timelines, right? So I'm just going to skip to the findings, okay? The Department of War made progress implementing the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan. By February of 2025, the Department of War created a Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Steering Committee, hired dedicated personnel, issued directed Department of War wide and command level instructions and policies, had a data management platform on track for initial use on October 1st, 2025, and they established the Civilian Protection Center of Excellence. However, Department of War components did not fully implement any of those objectives by the end of fiscal year 2025. Challenges with civilian hiring delays, contingent actions missing planned deadlines, and inadequate guidance and oversight from the steering committee hindered standardization and full implementation. Furthermore, in February of 2025, the acting Undersecretary of War for Policy and the Secretary of the Army both proposed major changes to the implementation. Although the Secretary of War has not announced a decision on these proposals, Department of War components ended funding for the data management platform, stopped holding steering committee meetings, lost or reassigned many of the personnel that were dedicated to it, and lost personnel and leadership at the Civilian Protection Center of Excellence. As a result, the Department of War may not comply with its civilian casualties and harm policy, which is DODI 3000.17, a policy required by federal law. According to Joint Staff and Combatant Command officials, eliminating the funding and personnel also decreases readiness and increases the risk to Department of War personnel, mission success, and military objectives. So yeah, this was a thing, y'all. This was an absolute thing that we being the United States government, we fucked up. We got rid of these very crucial, very critical departments and personnel and the people that we needed to mitigate the situation that we are currently in. Okay. So I just want to rally that. So now let me piggyback and I'm going to jump over here to the USS Abe Lincoln. Because I know that people want to talk about it. All right. I might regret this. I might not. Folks, when I bring you up to the panel, put yourself on mute until I get to you. Okay. Put yourself on mute until I get to you, and then I'll answer whatever questions you might have right now in the moment. Okay. Jedi, I'm not sure who you are. Hey, Irvette. Okay, well, it looks like everybody that requested didn't really want to come up. It is absolutely astounding that people didn't know about this. So all of Steve's people, did Steve play the interview with the commander from the IRGC? Facts still matter, folks. Disregard, I got you. Did Steve play the interview for you guys? Yes. Oh, they just lost another court case, which I'm really happy about. Okay. Okay, cool. Great. All right, so let's talk about the USS Abe Lincoln real quick. Oh, he got over his goal today. Love that for him. Love that. Okay. All right. So a lot of people might, I appreciate it, Cass. So a lot of people might say, oh, well, there's nothing really happening with the USS Abe Lincoln. That's just some left-leaning media saying that. Do you all know who actually led the stories about the USS Abe Lincoln? Do you know what outlets actually led the reporting on that story? Do you all know who reported it? Yeah, the families, but to what outlets? It was actually the Stars and Stripes and the Navy Times. And that's a big deal. So if you all remember, the Stars and Stripes has gotten admonished. Yeah, the Stars and Stripes has been admonished by this administration previously. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you their article. Okay. I have both of them pulled up. Okay. So family members and sailors say months at sea with no end in sight to a grueling Middle East deployment have intensified worries about mental health and the risk of self-harm aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. Those concerns were brought directly to Navy leadership Thursday when family members spoke to Acting Secretary of the Navy, Hang Chau, and other senior officials during intense town hall meetings, according to two spouses who attended. In one case, a spouse tearfully told officials that she received a message that same day from her husband saying, quote, "He hopes he doesn't wake up tomorrow," end quote. According to one of the estimated 200 attendees at the San Diego town hall meeting, officials presiding over the meeting didn't directly respond to that or similar statements, but stressed that sailors aboard the ship had access to mental health workers as well as chaplains and doctors, the spouse said. Those officials also said the service was working to send more mental health professionals to the ship, the spouse added. The worries expressed at Thursday's meetings echo those raised independently with Stars and Stripes by sailors and family members in recent weeks. A judge dismisses the Trump administration's lawsuit that claimed Harvard failed to protect Jewish and Israeli students. We'll go to that next. Interviews with active duty sailors and family members, along with dozens of public social media comments and posts by crew members, describe sailors struggling with exhaustion and declining morale, including reports of suicidal thoughts and at least one instance where a crew member was prevented from jumping overboard. The concerns come during an unusually demanding deployment. Lincoln sailors have supported 40 days of continuous combat operations in the U.S. Fifth Fleet area of operations and have logged 250 consecutive days at sea, according to Navy officials. The aircraft carrier left San Diego in November for a Pacific deployment, was redirected to the Middle East, and has now been deployed for more than 8 months, including a record-breaking number of days at sea without a port stop. Its crew has spent much of that time supporting U.S. combat operations against Iran, and the deployment, which was anticipated to end in May, has been extended with no publicly announced return date. The Navy did not say exactly how it was responding to family members' concerns about mental health and the potential for self-harm raised at Thursday's meetings. But the service did say the ship has a network of mental health support that includes counselors, chaplains, medical professionals, and other services. Quote, leadership is continuously conducting assessments to monitor and sustain the psychological readiness of every sailor, end quote, the Navy said in a statement on Monday. Stars and Stripes agreed to withhold the identities of spouses, family members, and active duty sailors interviewed for this story due to fears of reprisal. Family members and sailors say the roughly 5,000 service members aboard Lincoln have endured food and water shortages, disrupted mail service, and long work days with little time off. Lincoln has gone much of the deployment without the regular port calls that typically give carrier crews a break from life at sea. Carriers generally pull into a port every 30 to 45 days to allow for replenishment, maintenance, and crew rest. Quote, we've just been turning and burning the whole time we've deployed, said one sailor, noting that crew morale was high at the beginning of deployment, with expectations of port visits and other breaks. Nothing to really look forward to at this point, the sailor said, adding that crew morale now is so low that sailors and Marines aboard Lincoln would be willing to forego any upcoming stops in favor of returning home as soon as possible. Quote unquote, all we want is a date home. Sailors and their families say they understand that long hours, separation, and dangerous missions are part of military service. But many say Lincoln's crew has continued carrying out combat operations under unusually difficult conditions without enough attention to the physical and mental toll. Quote, my son is currently on that ship, and listening to him say that he and his shipmates constantly think about jumping off the ship just for relief is so hard to listen to. One worried parent wrote to Stars and Stripes in July, quote, we are all tucked in at night in our beds at night. Meanwhile, our loved ones are out there fighting with no understanding as to what they're defending, end quote. Sailors aboard Lincoln separately described an incident in which a crew member was prevented from jumping from the ship. Quote, we already had an instance where watchstanders had to stop someone from jumping, one sailor said. The ship's crew was informed about the incident, which occurred a few months ago during a ship-wide announcement, sailor said. The Navy did not respond directly to questions about this incident. But in response to questions about mental health, the service leadership was committed to, quote unquote, listening to our families, supporting our service members, and ensuring the Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has the resources needed to safely and successfully accomplish its mission, end quote. I'm not going to read the rest. Y'all, there's still much more. But just so you know, that's what's being reported. And what's really noteworthy is that it's being reported by the Stars and Stripes and the Navy Times, and not just like mainstream media outlets. So I just want to kind of point that out. All right, folks, when I bring you up to the panel, do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I get to you. It looks like, okay. Yeah, so the fact that the administration is denying it is what pisses me off the most. Because that makes it incredibly dangerous for our folks. Yeah, grumpy is a good word for it, Mac. Mac and I said 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week with no ports can make you really grumpy. Grumpy's an interesting word choice, right? Yes, invisible string. So let me just see. All right. Pete Hegseth has rejected reports of what's happening on the USS Abraham Lincoln as quote unquote misrepresented and quote unquote fake news. Yeah, so that's what he said. So nope, I'm not going to let you do that. Manji, why don't you come up? Manji, I would like for you to come up and I would like for you to share with me what your position is with the Department of War or with the U.S. military or with the Navy, and so that you can give me your direct information and your expertise and how you know when or where this particular boat was in port, when this carrier was in port. Because what I won't let you do is come in here and just spread fake shit. So let's go, Moon. Moon G, you are up. So if you're not a liar and full of shit, join the panel. I don't like CNN's headline because that's not what the Stars and Stripes says. The Stars and Stripes says that a soldier was prevented from going overboard. CNN reporting that someone did go overboard, I don't think is responsible reporting. But, you know, whatevs. Unless they got a scoop somewhere that nobody else did. So, yeah, so Moonjeez, this is your time. So you need to understand you're not going to stay in my chat and run your jaws. You're either going to get on my panel or you'll be muted. Going once. That's what I thought. Okay. I do want to, well, if you can, well, I'll tell you what, when you can talk, then you can type. I'm just going to be clear. I don't do keyboard warriors. I don't do it, folks. All right. So really quickly, I want to just provide a recap of things that are in my link tree for folks that we've covered this week. So if you have not read the report on ICE from the Ohio Immigrant Alliance, and you did not hear me talk about it earlier this week, can you please put a 1 in the chat? It's an incredibly important document that is super important. So if you were not here and you did not hear me go over this document, please put a 1 in the chat. Okay. So I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. It is in my link tree for you to review on your own. But what I will do is give you just the highlights, just the overview, okay? Because it's incredibly important. Jay Owen, by the way, the conversation that you asked me to clip yesterday, it is up. It is on the YouTube and it's on the podcast as well. Okay. So the Ohio Immigration Alliance did an investigation into 59 documented criminal cases involving Department of Homeland Security employees. They examined all 59 documented cases involved in civil immigration enforcement, and it revealed a pretty disturbing pattern of sexual violence, predation against children, and abuse of authority. And so here are the key findings. Of the 59 individuals in these documented cases, 50 of them, 84.7%, have been charged with or convicted of sex offenses. 37 of those 59 individuals, 62.7%, committed crimes that targeted children. So taken together, 35 individuals, which is 59.3%, committed sex offenses against children. And that is the single largest category on the list. Cases documented in 2025 and 2026 alone account for 42.4% of the entire list. 25 out of the 59 cases happened in the last 18 months. 2025 saw 13 cases, and 2026 already has 12, and that's in July. Okay? The last time it peaked was in 2020, and that was in 6. This is the, yes, Jeff, it is. Customs and Border Protection accounts for nearly 3/4 of all the cases. Okay. 42 out of 59, 71% of them are Customs and Border Patrol. Both agencies, Customs and Border Patrol and ICE, show high rates of sex offenses. 86% of the cases that involving CBP are sex offenses. 81% of ICE cases are also sex offenses. And these are out of the 59 documented cases. However, the ICE cases are more likely to involve underage victims. 69% of these cases involve children for ICE, compared to 62% for CBP. The entire document, the entire report is in my link tree. Again, this is 59 documented cases. They give you the names of the individuals. They give you the circumstances of the crimes, the cases. If they've already been convicted and sentenced, they give you the outcomes of the sentencings. All of that is in this report. The other thing that is in here is it gives you like the states where it happened. And then it also gives you the demographics of the abusers. Okay. In one of the cases, in the 18 months prior to this individual being arrested, police had been called to his home 23 different times for domestic violence, including him choking and strangling his wife. One of the other gentlemen, it involved children between the ages of 4 and 9. All of this is in the report. The cases, there's 59 of these cases. 20 of them are in Texas, 10 in Arizona, 5 in Minnesota, 4 in Florida, 4 in Michigan, 3 in California, 2 in Ohio, 1 in Colorado, and then 10 scattered amongst 7 other states. The majority of the individuals in the court cases, out of 59 cases, out of 59 individuals, 33 of them are white. That's 56%. Latino individuals account for 30.5%. Black individuals count for 8.5%. And AAPI individuals account for 1.7% of the offenders. So 56% of the offenders are white, 30.5% are Latino, 8.5% are Black, AAPI 1.7%. The racial disparities are even more stark when you examine the types of offenses. White offenders have the highest sex offense rate at 94% and the highest rate of crimes against children at 73%. By contrast, Latino individuals on the list have a 67% sex offense rate and 50% child victim rate. So, yeah. Anyway, of the 37 of the 59 individuals committed crimes against underage victims, and of those, 35 of those 37 were sex offenses against children. So this information, like I said, is in my link tree. I think it's important, especially when you piggyback this on the back of the testimony of Ryan Schwank before Congress the ICE lawyer that testified about the things that he was asked to do, the cuts in training, the cuts in screening, the direction to violate the law and enter homes without a warrant. All of those things are important. I cannot stress, and I'm going to come back to this because it's really important. I cannot stress how important it is, you all, that we have had whistleblowers and testimony before Congress in some of our most important agencies in the country, in the whole government, right? There's an issue when you have whistleblowers from DOJ and whistleblowers within DHS, and and then whistleblowers or testimony from within CDC as well. This administration is ripe and wrought with corruption and dysfunction and violations of law and policy. And it is critical that we use our time, our effort, our voices, our fingers on the keys, our internet, our social media platforms to hold these individuals accountable. They should not be allowed to just go willy-nilly all over the place and do whatever they want. So I want to ask something for you, from you guys. How many of you all hear some sort of Islamophobia, Muslim bigotry in your life on a daily basis or a regular basis? All the time you're in Florida? Only online? Okay. So here's what I'm gonna ask. So you all know that I believe when you belong to the group of people doing the offense, then it's your responsibility to stand in the gap and speak against the offense. Right? So this is one of the things that I'm going to ask everyone to do. If you are not a Muslim, and especially if you are a Christian, it is your responsibility to stand in the gap and speak up and speak out about the Islamophobia. And because I'm going to tell you what I'm concerned about, legitimately. I do not want to see another round of hashtags like we had hashtag after September 11. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see stories of children scared to go to school, of their fathers being beaten or even murdered. I do not want to see what we saw following 9/11 again in this country. I would hope that we are better than this and that we have learned, but I don't know that that's true. And so not only is it helpful if we address it when we see it and hear it, right? But here's the other piece of it. How many of you would be willing to give me an orange heart in the comments if you would be willing to record a quick video and post it on your social media that says you do not support Islamophobia, and that we should not be targeting people based on their faith and their religion? How many of you all can I get to make a promise to do a video and post it across your socials? Let's use a hashtag. Let's everyone use the same hashtag, right? I'm thinking of what hashtag. can we just do can we just do a hashtag stop hate hashtag start acceptance. I don't know if I want to do start acceptance. I want to do like stop hate, start love. Something to that effect. So I don't want it to, so here's the thing. Yeah, just hashtag stop hate, I think is good enough. Hashtag stop hate, right? Because I can't make people start love. I can't make people any of that, right? But I'm just saying, and I'm not asking anybody to love Muslims. I'm not asking anybody. What I am asking people to do, yes, and I love hashtag educate. You can add on to it, but hashtag stop hate, hashtag educate. I love that. Bobby, we can help. Absolutely, we can help. So remember, you can do a video and you can use a picture and just voice over if you want to. If you don't want your face, I will say as many faces as possible would be great, especially if your face is a white face. Your face is incredibly important. Yes. So coolest mom ever, and you're going to crush it because I know how you do. But the idea is to do a quick video that addresses the rise of Islamophobia and the hatred towards Muslims, especially. Can we get like a script? Sure, Katie. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it would just be something like this. Here I go riffing some shit again, right? But here it is, right? So listen. And listen, if you're somebody that hates doing this kind of thing, say that. You can say, I'm doing this video. Maybe only 3 people will see it. It doesn't really matter. I hate doing this. And I know that this is important, right? We are not a country. We are not a people. Or we don't want to be a country anymore where bigotry and hatred and division lead. We don't want to be a country where we judge people by the color of their skin or the way that they pray or how they dress. And as we approach the midterms, it is incredibly important that we do not create an atmosphere that is harmful and dangerous for innocent people walking the streets. So this is me using my voice to say it is not okay. As a US citizen, you might say as a Christian, you might say as a Buddhist, you might say as a person. I feel like it's important for me to say out loud to as many people as will hear my voice that this is not okay. And I am a safe space for Muslims. Yeah, but Dolphin, it's not about being blunt. It's about how do you want to be received? And this is something that I'm going to keep saying to everyone. I want everything that you say, I want your ego to go on the back burner, and I want you to think about how you need to say it in order to be heard. You hear me? Not to be right, not to make a point, but to actually be heard. Because that's the goal. The goal is to be heard, not to just be right. The goal is for somebody to see it and for it to resonate, for it to connect, for it to click, for something to happen. And that means it's not the fuck about you. It's about the message, and it's about what you want people to know and to get from it. And if you need a reminder of why this is so important, okay, I really do want you to go to the internet and type in hashtag after September 11th. Do that. Type it in. Read the stories from all the children, from all the people. It will break your heart. You will cry. When people say, oh, we were so united after 9/11. No, we weren't. Not everybody. No, we weren't. Nope. America channeled all of that bigotry and hatred to anyone that looked remotely Muslim. We went after Hindu people, Sikh people, like all kinds of folks, because they was brown and wore some type of covering, because that's how ignorant much of the country is to different religions. I agree, Rescue Squad. Every video should start the same. Okay, so let's do it. Every video should start the same. So I think your name, right? So how do we want to start? How do we want to start every video? I got you. So I will do a script. I will post it in my Discord, and I will post it in my boards on TikTok. Okay? That's what I will do. But I just really feel like this is something that can be impactful and be beneficial, and is worth doing. Can somebody help get Lucid in the Discord? Appreciate you, Steve. So the boards, it's just like a chat room, Miranda. It's like if you join my board, whenever I go live, you'll get a notification. Or if I put a message in there, you'll see that notification. I do it I'm in Discord most often, but I do remember the board. Okay? If you go to my link tree, Miranda, so like if you go to my profile and you go to my link tree, at the very top, there's these little icons. The icon that looks like a remote controller, that icon is for my Discord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more person. So Ricky, your account is set to where I cannot send you a request. And so I'm going to ask you, Ricky, to join my panel before I get off of here for the day, because you keep saying things in the chat that have zero to do with what the fuck I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't valid or isn't important, right? But you seem to want my attention, and now you have it. Last but not least, folks, while we wait to see if Ricky is going to actually join the panel or not, which I doubt he will, let me give you this. Tonight is Project for the People meeting. That's tonight. Project for the People, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be sending out an email this afternoon with the link for you to be able to join Project for the People. If you show up tonight for the first time, if you're showing up, you will get a discount code if you want merch. You will also, if you come to the meeting and you bring someone, if you bring someone new, your name will go into a hat for a drawing for free merch. And I got you, Lynn. And we are going to be going over all the new graphics. And there's quite a few in there. And so we'll do some role playing. We'll go over graphics, and then we're going to go over some more data and strategy. So Rescue Squad, I don't resonate with stomp out hate. I would rather say, eradicate hate or something. Yeah. Thank you, coolest mom ever. Okay. All right, folks, I'm at the 3-hour mark. And even though I could go a little bit longer, I'm not. I'm not. And the reason why I'm not is because I have a one-on-one at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with one of my subscribers. And then I have a Project for the People at 8. And then I still have to cook dinner for the kiddos and all the things. So like it's a very short amount of time. And then I still have graphics that I need to upload. So I do love y'all. I see that there's 400 people in the room. And I do love that there are 400 people in the room. However, I gotta get shit done for everybody. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I go? To that lady's father Sunday night. What lady's father? What lady's father? I don't know who that is. I don't remember. Oh, you're welcome, Red Cargo. Listen, I better see a shit ton of videos. Oh yeah, Honey Graham. We did. It wasn't her father, but no, yeah, we did several of them. And I've got clips that one of them I already posted on TikTok, but I have others that are going to go up on YouTube. I already clipped them. Lucid is who needs help with Discord. Oh no, you're asking for a mod to get help. So yeah, you can tag me in them if you want to. Headhunter, you can either scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you can go to makingamericatruly.great.com, and that is how you get into Project for the People. Nope, I spoke with 2 husbands and then somebody else, and yeah, sure did. Okay. Yeah, let's see how many people we can get to Project for the People tonight. Start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know, Cass. So, but like, this is one step. One step is getting people to address it. And if everybody that's in here that said yes actually does it, maybe it will pick up. And listen, folks, when you do your videos, make sure that at the end of your video, you ask for everybody watching your video to do the same thing. Make sure that you have an ask. At the end of your video, you're asking everyone else to make the same video. Yep, reaction, it's coming. Doing my best. I'm gonna try to get it recorded today. Oh, and go listen to the new podcast episode. If you're not following The Dani Cook Show on your favorite podcast platform, please go do that. I just relaunched the episodes. Go back and listen to the old ones. Give it a boost. Give it a whirl. And let's see if we can't crank some shit up and make a difference. Okay. I love y'all, mean it, and I will see you later. All right. See y'all in literally like later in just a few hours. Okay.